now. So it'll take just a second.
Okay.
Now. It'll take a little second. All right, looks like we are live on YouTube.
Okay.
There's one person watching right now if we want to wait.
Yeah, we can wait until about 6:05.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and get started. But welcome to those of you that are watching us on the channel. Thank you for being here and being on time. We look forward to any questions you may have. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We will get started in about 4 more minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Thank you for joining for our CTC redevelopment meeting tonight. Monitha will present first. She is with CATS. She is our Transit Project Development Manager. And while she's presenting or while anyone is presenting, if you have questions or comments, please leave those in the YouTube chat and we will address those at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Logan. Welcome to those of you watching on the YouTube channel. My name is Monifa Hendrickson Woodside. I am with the City of Charlotte CATS, Charlotte Area Transit System, and I am CATS's Transit Project Development Manager. Thank you for joining us this evening for our rezoning community meeting for the Charlotte Transportation Center Redevelopment Project. And this is for petitions 2023 number 40 and 2023 number 41, which are the parcels associated with the project, the existing Charlotte Transportation Center location and our location for the proposed temporary bus facility. Joining me this evening from the project team, I also have Mr. Bruce Jones with our transit planning team. Mr. Jones is part of the CATS's team internally. We also have joining me this evening is part of our private developers team with White Point Partners, Mr. Jeff Brown with More Than Allen, and Mr. Nathan Tidd with the Kimley Horn Perkins Eastman design team. I will start off the project talking just a little bit of background information and project description, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Tidd to take us through the rezoning specifics, and then we'll wrap up with a short timeline of next steps and answer any questions you may have. The Charlotte Area Transit System and the City of Charlotte are proposing to redevelop the existing Charlotte Transportation Center, CTC, located at 310 East Trade Street in Charlotte, North Carolina, in order to construct a newly upgraded facility as part of a public-private partnership. The proposed redevelopment will be a multi-phased project creating seamless connections to CATS's express and local bus services, CATS's Lynx Blue Line light rail service, CATS's City Link Gold Line streetcar service, and the pedestrian rail trail, which runs adjacent to the Lynx Blue Line. Upon completion, the new transit center will provide direct access between high-density mixed-use development and local regional transit. Phase 1 of the proposed project will be our temporary bus facility located across 4th Street, southwest of the existing site. The temporary bus facility would be constructed adjacent to the current site in order to maintain our bus service during construction of the new transit center. Phase 2 of the project is the new CTC development and will include full demolition of the existing CTC and construction of a multi-story mixed-use development. The private mixed-use overbuild development will include transit improvements for the new transit center. The new construction will include pedestrian connections and light rail platform extensions at 3rd Street Station and the CTC Arena Station. Our next slides go through the petition specifics for both petition number 40, which is our transit center, and petition number 41, which is a proposed temporary site location. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Tidd. Nathan?
Hey, thank you, Monifa. And Jeff, step in at any point if you would like to clarify anything, but nice to be here tonight, and just like to run through this slide. The current zoning for the parcel is UMUD O optional, and our proposed is UMUD optional as well, with just a couple different special options. You know, the basic purpose of this rezoning is it's a technical rezoning. It's to address flexibility needs under the UMUD due to the complexity and the project concept that has been developed so far. Some of the optional provisions that we have outlined in the rezoning request are a reduced setback along East Trade Street, the ability to allow ride sharing and valet parking within that setback, a reduced trail or rail transit setback area, a reduced number of loading spaces within the building footprint, and to allow street trees and above grade planters along the perimeter of the parcel. We're also requesting to reduce the percent of uses in the facade of the first floor retail activities due to the functionality of the buses and the ingress and egress driveways for the bus facility, to allow flexibility for changeable electronic messaging signage, and to allow design flexibility and select transit access locations in the building step back. So those are a summary of the optional provisions requested under rezoning 2023-040. Summary of rezoning 2023-041 is the interim or temporary facility, which we built ahead of demolition of the current facility. The current zoning on this parcel is UMUD, and our proposed zoning is UMUD optional. As you see, I'll outline the options that we're requesting. This also similar to the main block. It's a technical rezoning, simply to address, the need to be flexible with the project concept and redevelopment plans for this parcel. Because a temporary bus facility is not a standard use in Uptown. Optional provisions that are being sought under this rezoning for the temporary facility and redevelopment include a reduced setback along Brevard Street, reduced rail transit setback area, allowing 2 vehicular access points from Brevard Street to the interim facility, and not requiring retail activities as a percent of the first floor along Brevard or 4th Street facades in the interim condition. Reduce first floor facade retail activities along 4th, and flexibility in building design step back along Brevard Street. Also allowing the elimination of on-street parking and street trees, planting strip along Brevard and 4th Streets, and allowing flexibility for changeable electronic messaging signs. And as we mentioned, these are all technical requirements in order to allow the conceptual designs to be built within this zoning district. Jeff, anything to add there?
Well, thank you, Nathan. I think you did a great job of going through this, as you've emphasized. It's really more to reflect the fact that some of the design aspects have been involved in the current UMUD plans for the ordinance, current UMUD ordinance, and to be able to give these more technical flexibility items. I did want to mention one clarification on the second bullet there on the optionals for the temporary facility had the words interim next to that. I think that should probably not be there. But again, it's allows that rail trail reduction based upon also being more comparable to the new UDO standard. But beyond that, I think you did a great job of describing these technical requirements. And also, Manifa, thank you for the description of the project generally.
All right, thank you both for that. I'm going to step back to some of the project description and just make one mention that just as a reminder, based on feedback from previous public outreach and high-level environmental screenings, we did arrive at a preferred option that was a preferred design that was adopted by the Metropolitan Transit Commission as our locally preferred alternate, and that's the concept under which we are seeking the rezoning, and that was approved by the MTC on January 31st of 2023. So I wanted to just step back and make mention of that for those of you that may not be familiar with that full timeline. So I wanted to do a quick wrap up and just talk about next steps.
I lost my phone audio. Can you guys hear me?
I can now. Thank you.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm not sure what was the last thing I said, but I tried to just go back a little bit and talk about the locally preferred alternates. So hopefully all that was captured. Okay, great. So let's, I just wanted to do a quick wrap up and answer any questions, leave room for conversation if necessary. Next steps include a public hearing that's scheduled for City Council's April 15th meeting. Following that meeting, we will prepare ourselves to go before the zoning committee on April 30th and respond to any feedback there and any incorporated revisions to our design or our concept proposal. And then we're currently scheduled to be part of a city council decision on May 20th. That's the current schedule, but we are, of course, that date may shift around depending on what happens next and how we need to move forward in response. And so those are the next 3 steps for the project in regards to rezoning. We thank you guys for your time in attending this evening. We are happy to answer any questions. And Logan, I'm going to ask you to let us know if there are questions. I'm not able to see the participant list or the chat box.
There are not currently any questions in the chat box.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel like we've done a really good job of describing the project and describing the rezoning specifics under which we're seeking for the petitions for petition number 40, which is the existing CTC parcel, and petition number 41, which is the temporary bus facility. Again, we're seeking to maintain bus operations, and that's kind of why we have two parcels. But because for the city and for CATS and our development partner, those two parcels and those two functions, you know, the permanent CTC site and the temporary location, for us, it's one big project. They go hand in hand. That temporary location is part of continuing bus service and keeping it as adjacent and as close to the existing center. For us, it's just a great part of continuing service in our operations. So if you're wondering out there why there's two different petitions and two applications for rezoning, that's why we're really seeking to do this in a seamless way and maintain operations during construction. So again, if you're watching from home or watching out in the internet world and have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. You don't even have to unmute yourself. You can just ask us anything you'd like.
This meeting will also be, or it is recorded to be posted on the CATS YouTube channel for you to watch at a later date or share the link with someone else.
Correct. Okay. Well, unless my project team or Logan has anything to add, I'm going to thank Mr. Brown and Mr. Ted and Mr. Jones for their time and participation this evening. We're going to thank Ms. Logan for moderating and hosting for us here on YouTube. And again, my name is Monifa Woodside. I am with Charlotte Area Transit System. Thank you for joining us for our rezoning community meeting for petitions number 40 and number 41. All right. Well, you guys all have a great evening. Thank you for joining us.